Just in case we have any signals in the area, scanning, sweepings. I'll put this next to the camera in case you hear anything beeping. That would naturally mean something in the area is either sending or projecting or whatever signal you hear. So, nice one. This is one of my, what do you call it, Ascender missions, vision quest. Absolutely sober. So, what I've analyzed for myself, when you walk into these areas, there are certain layers or certain dimensionalities. And let me see. Okay. So, and protect the camera a little bit so we don't hear unnecessary wind action. Do you have sound? Yeah. Okay. See. So okay, when I walk into canyons, it's a following process for me to whatever canyon it may be. There are dozens out here. Beautiful to pick from. Is I process or visualize where I'm going. This is the hike. And what the hike usually does is, I had a winter break, so when you come out here, this is the new year, going direction spring, it beats the crap out of you. And you get super tired. You don't want to actually do nothing but just walk, reach your goal, and turn around. But what's extremely powerful, what I found and what I realized, is when it gets quiet and you come over that collapse and you sit still for a moment. Okay, that shows the importance of being alone at times. And what that means, that alone means all in one, that you have time to concentrate on yourself, on your senses, everything that goes through your mind. And usually when you walk through an energetic canyon, such as this, you see all the red rocks around here, that has to do with the iron in the rock. So it's silica and iron. What that does, it's kind of like photonic, organic mixed. So this entire platform here where I'm at, that's what the ancients call that holy place, is actually a super generator to help you accelerate and process yourself with everything that you are quicker. Also, the ancients say, not everybody is equipped to handle that. Some people come here, they stay too long, they lose their mind because it's overwhelming to process your shadow. It's overwhelming to process when you're doing not the right and just. Or when you go back in the past and you review your life. You know, some people have to die in order to review their life because their entire lifespan, they don't realize that's what you've been doing. That's what you've been causing. Since I lived in Sedona, every action that I put out, I have to self-realize and feel. And any action that caused any grief when I was from little to all the way grown up, I had to relive very, very fast. And whatever pain or whatever, you hold or you cause in somebody else by accident because you didn't feel them empathically, you have to go through their pain to understand that it's actually you're hurting yourself. So, more or less, you have to process yourself here. And then you have time to look around and see yourself in the spotlight. And you realize sometimes even when hiking, it can be draining. My hoodie will go on because it's chilly, we're not clear yet, so we're coming out the winter, trying to come out of this. So you can feel how some get on a hike, they walk the hike, they finish the hike, reach their goal, do their meditation, and then they walk back. Some run into the hike, run to the goal, show the world that they have made it, and run back out and have missed the entire concept. They'll process, yeah, on some very, very deep, lower, catacombs, deep embedded within the self level. And it probably takes them years to understand the messages that the spirits are sending to you. I'm here under the, you can say, Arcturian command. I have coordinates that I get in my head, and then I wake up and I go there and I just sit there. And I'm being told, no worries, you might see something, you might not. I had this weird occurrence today that I felt scanned. Didn't see anything in the sky, didn't hear anything, but my microwave leakage detector went off like crazy. And I don't know if surveillance planes use that, or if it came from within the rock, or somebody running around in the rocks off trail that uses microwave bursts, or if a satellite burst hit me for a second. It was measurable. I couldn't record it because it happened so quick and I didn't have the camera running, but so I know there's something going on, which I find very interesting. That has to do with disclosure and things being revealed. I have friends that have built apparatus that can show you stuff. You'll be amazed what you see and what you hear. Soon to be released commercially. That's all as much as I'm allowed to say. And then you'll see there are things that regular machines can't detect, can't measure, and that doesn't mean they don't exist. Well, if you have a machine that can actually measure something that is there, then it makes the existence valid. The consciousness seems to be very slow in understanding, does it have a write-up? How many people are buying it? What's the success rate with that? Let's say, you come into the modality, so God allow it, that cancer can be really, really healed real quick, I think there are many modalities out there that can help people, and such as what I mentioned in my video, Carnivora, which is an extract from the Venus flytrap plant that is an enzymic liquid that knows to distinguish between an organism that belongs in your body and an organism that does not belong into your body. That's how this Venus flytrap captures foreign organisms and actually liquefies them and digests them. So some scientists has found out, if you have, no other alternative after whatever modality of terminal sickness you'll have, and this is just for your own exploration, for your own search purpose. Google that Carnivora. And if not, watch my video where I mention the things. I will mention that again under the top 10 picks, new AG picks. But back to the topic is the hike defines actually the capacity to process yourself. So you walk basically the hike, you walk into a canyon, look at it as a womb or a womb-universe where you're birthing yourself, and guess what? You had thousands of lifetimes. So guess what? In this life, you have to birth yourself as much as you can, over and over and over and over and over and over. Because the more you get yourself with everything that is past life regression, hypnotherapy, if you can get into this. Like I mentioned, Samadhi tank, go through the layers of self. It doesn't require you to take any substance. You can go psychotronic, give the environment a chance to peel you. Go through the layers of illusion. Understand the name in your passport and the person that you have modeled according to how you grew up is not you. There's an inner network of an interdimensional, intracellular communication that makes the cosmos of what is you. And that needs to be refined, defined, amplified. Quality has to be brought back, not quantity. Mass production, the industry as a part of our consciousness went into quantity instead of quality, and now it's about not how much time. You go to the Mayan calendar, which is very interesting, is what's the quality of the time, what's the quality of the day, and not how many days have you. What were the days where the quality was good? What was the feeling of your feeling this had quality, like quality time, not quantity time, you know. We work and work and run and run and run. We make money, we try to sustain what is not sustainable. If the big cities don't come to a solution, let's say in 200 years, they will eventually turn to ghost towns because it becomes parasitic, energies will deplete, and people will look for other modalities, more peaceful togetherness, peaceful living, living in harmony, having their kids taught by the new system, homeschooling from a pad, so you save the bullying and you save all the ruckus that kids go through when they grow up. You know, I read in the book We Be Arcturians that they feel that their kids, if you could compare that in the on the ascended planet, before they're 15, they don't even go to social events like that because they believe that the aura or the auric egg is not even in completion before you're 15. So now imagine, let's say you're 5 years old, 4 years old, okay, you're at layer 4 with your aura, you're a baby, and they put you to kindergarten. My experience was, well, I get pushed from my table, and then somebody takes my snacks, my breakfast, and I'm like, okay, if you punch somebody and take their food and they don't defend themselves, this person has more food. And I look around and nobody steps up. Well, that's society. I have childhood memories. I can go back as far as I'm 3 years old, you know. I had even experiences where I can go pre-birth that I remember because I'm training myself, allowing myself to go through the layers. So I'm bringing this forth and peeling this out when I go do my hikes, which is the original yoga, not the yoga, which the Hindus see that what Western people do the yoga as, that's aerobics, that's not really yoga. They see yoga or yogi as in wisdom and meditation for what you do. Either you hike, you swim, you explore, or you meditate. All of these forms of meditation they call yogi, and that comes with wisdom. Now, how many yoga practitioners come with the actual respectful wisdom for all genders? That is very, very rare and very minute. So very quick things are turned to business, and this is not actually where you want to go. So in finding yourself, going in depth into who you are is the best way. I recommend go on a hike, you know, and then feel your thoughts. I'm just talking what's going through my mind and let it happen, and then see clearly without the stress. So many people plug you, hook you, are convenient, cord you to wherever your weakest part is. The cords, you know, they go into your system and they draw you into their own density because they're not willing to process their own density. When you rebel or you speak up, people think actually that you're really not on their side or you're overproducing it. But interestingly, why is it that, you know, the wise man that sits in the mountain, which I know those times are over, we're like monks without monastery, comes from the mountain after, I don't know, 60 years and has wisdom that will just, you have to lay flat, can write books and teach a lot of people. So now we have to find that wisdom living in the cities or wherever we live and embody that wisdom and bring it to the people. And allow yourself to lean out, as they say, lean out the window. You know, it's what I do when, you know, I'm on camera. I'm not an actor, or I'm not Hollywood. This is a one take. This is a one shot. There's nothing scripted. This is naturally speaking how things go through me as I'm in nature. And nature is here to reset me, to recalibrate me, to photonically get me in gear so that I can shine again. And the body needs that, you know. I had at times when I'm deep in the density of the cities, you know, metropolitan areas, severe back pain. And I realized when I ground my body, the back pain disappears. Grounding you can do by taking your hands and, you know, let the hands touch the ground. Take your shoes off, which after this video I will do the walk around. Ground a bit. Let the information that Earth will take out of your body that has become non-essential take in and process. bring the energy back. A lot of people out there that are non-believers is basically, if an organism begins to heal, there are resistant cells, and they'll speak up. Those who watched the movie Lucy, you will understand what that actually means when you come into a wakeful state. How much power you embody when you actually attract that and bring that in. But it doesn't happen with just meditation, or somebody says, now your DNA is activated. You know, DNA activation also, we need to get out of the dreamy states that, oh, I felt goosebumps and now I'm so activated. What does that mean? You know, I want to bring it back to the body, to the physical. The magic is, I spoke to a guy named Doc Braham, or Brannon, if I'm not, I got that name right. And he explained to me how he looked at DNA activation. So he explained to me that he had somebody who was like an NBA player, and the dude had fears. If you would see big names like, I don't know, Michael Jordan or any other big names, I'm pretty much aloof in the sports game. I'm not so much into sports. I'm more into finding out how this works. Anyway, and then he would have an inferior complex, so he would choose the modality of fear, and then he would lose the ball because he would lose the confidence to play with these players. Okay, this is about DNA activation. And then he explained to me how he would, you know, put that guy into a samadhi tank and give suggestive messages for him that he would embody what he would see, and that will eliminate the fear. He would give him messages and like, you know, you could say post-hypnotic impulses to train the mind for a month or two. He would trigger the impulse finger for shooting hoops, the middle finger, you know, tapping basically his own body while suggesting, you know, that he can, you know, take the group, his entire clan to the playoffs and win and be a successful player, not having to embody fear, and train him. They would also go into the court, and then he would shoot hoops, thousands of hoops after the tapping, basically training the muscle memory and the mind physically to engage physically into something that you're changing physically. DNA activation does not just work etherically. When people charge you, I don't know, $600, and it's like this and this and this, and you don't attain any skill from that, then, you know, you have to be very, very cautious. Who do you engage in? What does that mean, DNA activation? Also, when your DNA activated, you speak different. My DNA is activated. My speech has changed. I speak like language. I can write it. I can glyph. I can decode it. I can do certain readings that I didn't have the capacity to do before. And I knew when that happened. And now here's the thing, back to Doc Branham. He explained to me that he knows a scientist, which I am searching. Once I find that guy, I will analyze that, who can actually, under a microscope, can really check your DNA and check the wiring. And so the player was trained to shoot hoops, and they made the ring that the ball goes through, okay, smaller, and have him continuing training. Like if you look from this side, basic training, but there's more to it. So you do that for months and months and months. The body physically develops the DNA that contacts your subconscious and reprograms your wiring. And the brain, and that's physically proven, rewires the synaptic modality of your hardwired circuitry, how you work under stress when that same thing appears. That guy took the group to the playoffs. Of course, these treatments are very, very expensive. What they do is they recalibrate your brain state. They get your alpha, your beta, your gamma, your delta in a phase where you look like a harmonized and balanced brain. The Monroe Institute, amongst many others, have found out if these 4 brain hemispheres actually resonate in a phase conjugation, meaning they're bringing forth the Fibonacci spiral coming out of your brain. That's when people take psychedelics and they're able to handle that. I'm not suggesting that. That's from in Switzerland. They do these experiments because it's legal there. And you come into this avatar state, into this knowingness. Your IQ. I've spoken to Patrick Flanagan, who mentioned that they measured when your brain actually is synchronized and harmonized and balanced. You become this golden sine wave, and your IQ becomes infinite. And science has looked at it that, you know, the IQ is limited to, you know, I don't know, 120, 140. That's actually very, very dangerous because it's very limiting for the brain to just have that sequence. So infinite IQ means when you are in nature, you understand that nature is unlimited. There's no limit in creation or what comes together. It's divine by design, this architecture. So when you are triggered into the infinite, and again, I want to bring us out of the theory, oh, it's all love and I'm love and light and I'm infinite and namaste. Really get into, well, can you ride a skateboard now like a world champion? You know, if somebody can do that in 2 weeks, well, excellent. If somebody's bone can heal instead in 6 weeks, let's say in a week and a half, and the bone marrow is already healed, and science can say, well, you have an accelerated healing process that is unheard of, excellent. We should look at this magic. This is the new thing that comes in, and this is what wants to communicate to you. So the little tiny topic of DNA activation is the guy's DNA rewired. You can read that by reading the Gattaca code. There's their structures and you see activity. And they can also measure those who sit on a rock, sing kumbaya, sorry I have to use that terminology, measure them and nothing happens. That is called mentalized spirituality, and we need to get out of this. I'm happy. You know, it's like, I don't know, I broke my best friend's washing machine, you know, and I didn't help him get a new one, but I'm happy. You know, I'm out of responsibility. We need to get out of mentalized spirituality. We all are spiritual, but there are physical things that need to take place in life in order for you effectively anchor your higher self here. And with that, you build things, you know. That is what goes into my inventions. I dream my inventions, put it this way. I look at information that my higher self highlights or my higher sense. I'm going through a book, and in these books I see sentences that they highlight, they literally stand out. If you watch the Lego movie, I mention this again, as a master builder, you have a consciousness to look at the pieces, and the pieces will talk to you and tell you, okay, this is piece 1, 2, 3, 4. Put it together, you have something that does something. That requires an innate intelligence to manifest. If you check the thing that's called human design, what does that mean? Generator, manifestor, generator, or projector, or just manifestor, or just generator. If you see the circuitry of the energetics that run you, bring it into the physical. It's like if you want to juggle, okay, talking about DNA activation, well, then you learn how to juggle by doing this, feeling it, participating, and actively imagining yourself juggling. That makes you a juggler. And anybody else that comes to you says, well, let me activate that in you. So now you're a juggler. If you can't walk away from that person that claims they can activate you on that high level, and you're juggling that same moment, and yes, I say it, what has happened? Nothing much physically. So again, we need to get out of theory and turn that into practical things. So I learned on my hike is, you know, for the hike, I can imagine the hike, and I process these things because I've been on the hike before. That's my meditation. I cannot imagine a place that I haven't been to and have not experienced and then emulate the experience without having made the experience. That is like if, let's say, I decide to be, in Iraq, and for 70 lifetimes I decide to be celibate. No sex or sexual, whatever you want to call that field, which is a whole nother other topic for people that needs healing. I cannot hope to believe that I can purely activate all my chakras without having made the experience that this body is designed for. Not in misuse, but in respect. We need to get out of theory. We have met people that sit on a couch and they're like, yo, I'm a 19-dimensional avatar, such and such, so and so. If you cannot mathematically describe what 19 dimensions are, and it's very hard to go there explain that. I have one video where I'm explaining 12 dimensions. Can you fathom a dimension within a dimension? A creator within a creator, and a dimension where the creator within a creator is looked at by a higher being that is another being within a being looked at by even another supremer being. Draw that on a piece of paper. And there's people that come out there and they say, I'm this or seventh dimensional this. We are multidimensional beings. And we're learning to bring the multidimensionality into the body. And magic will take place when it becomes physical. When you actually can make physical changes and physical arrangements in the vessel that you can bring out of the thought realm, the mental hemispheres, into the body. Let's say a woman that I knew in the past from a good friend of mine, she was a bleeder. She had no white blood cells, so she would cut herself and she would bleed. She learned through training to alter her DNA to not bleed if she would cut herself. Basically, a cut on the finger, she could bleed to death because the body would seal. So she learned, which science cannot explain, why all of a sudden she's not a bleeder anymore. But she has to practice that to embed the program into the vessel so the bleeding stops. We all can do it. We all are victims to our own design. We blame governments, I don't know, CIA, FBA. See, it gets funny. The la-la-las and the tags and the Boy Scouts, and I got this, and I'm this, and I'm this, and this, and that, and we this, and in case of this, and blah, blah, blah. It's a lot of blah, blah, blah that is not actual fact. And when you become a knower, you step away from the news that you watch, that every day they project negative information, and you're in fear. And you're in fear, oh, you need insurance, we protect you, so you're not in fear. So you're paying not to be in fear, but you do not learn to embody, to be fearless, to be yourself, to go places where you need to go, when you need to go, without the consequence. We are all so upset. What would this person say if I would do this? Talk about openly, and I just had that discussion with my partner, openly, not discussions, more of an exchange of this is how I feel, this is how I felt when I was 12, this is how I felt when I was 5, and you come to a mutual agreement that nobody misunderstands your defense or offense, is a subconscious God reaction to protect you because your interest is to keep the peace. But we're doing all the wrong things for the right reasons. But we can make that right thing for a right reason to correct ourselves and stay on our path, to make that nice and stay on the hike like Little Red Riding Hood. What did the mother say? Stay on the path, don't talk to strangers, get the basket and deliver the goods. And that is basically get the basket, deliver the goods, and empty the basket. Empty yourself. Free yourself. Be one with nature. And take time out. Sometimes go out and take time out and do your own thing. It's okay. Love yourself. Love yourself even more. And be realistic. Really see life for what it is. Do not add to the picture. A lot of people are out there adding to the picture, and they keep you in theory. What does a guru do to you for 20 years if you sit there in theory? It's all nice. It doesn't require a robe and a bindi and this for you to be spiritual. You are spiritual. The plumber that fixes the pipe is probably more in tune than the guy that runs around, I just have to go there. The dentist that fixes your tooth is maybe more like Buddha than the guy who acquires to be Buddha sitting there trying to find himself. If you are in what you do, in your purpose, you are right. You're okay. You can do it, and try to establish good communication, winged words, positive affirmations. And as long as you can project that, the brain recalibrates and gives you deja vu, because that means you've been here before. In a past life, you had the same situation. The same situation came with a different storyline, and you had to make choices. Now it's up to you to do it right. And be with that. And be with the all. Be with the source. Because you are the source code. That's that. And on that note, bless you. Thank you for listening. And this is a great year, and the storyline continues, and more magic will be revealed. That's not a promise, that's guaranteed. Just open your eyes, use your ears and listen. Open your heart and get into it and investigate. Really check it out, what's out there. See what works. Little things. The world is full of choices, decisions you must make. Nobody will make them for you. What did Morpheus say? All I can show you is the door. You are the one who has to open. Bless you, and on that note, thanks so much.